Let's give him something to watch.
Hi, I'm Jade,
I'm Annabelle.
and welcome to our show. I'm so excited. Today we're talking about young Sherlock.
I'm excited for you.
If
You're
you
going to hear a lot of
If you
information
could see her notes right now,
compared to
it's
Jade's.
like reading The House of Leaves. Where
Oh,
it's
yeah,
literally
that's
just
just notes
scribbled all
everywhere.
over. That's what your page looks like right now.
I've got.
Over young Sherlock.
I mean, do we say how much we each watched?
Yeah, let's.
Because I refuse to have a conversation about this show with somebody who watched episode 1 and the finale.
I didn't watch anything in between.
Nothing in
This,
between.
I'm going to tell you right off the bat, was a DNF for me.
It was a DNF for her. She watched the end probably just so we could chat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of like to at least be able to know what happened at the end.
So let's get into it. What makes young Sherlock different from previous versions of Sherlock Holmes on screen?
How much time do we have? The fact that he's young. Every Sherlock, original series in the magazines, he's already older. And he already works for the cops and already has these powers of deduction and stuff. So we're getting to meet him at 19. So that's not something that we've ever seen before.
That's fair. I don't think I ever have, and I never will.
You're like, and there's a reason.
My favorite is my notes just says, what makes young Sherlock different? It's terrible. That's what I put. It's terrible. How does the show portray Sherlock as a 19-year-old at Oxford? And does it feel believable?
Yes, it does. Because he's 19, but he's still very much Sherlock in the sense that in the beginning, he wants to see if he can pickpocket, but he returns the stuff he steals right away. But one guy freaks out, he gets sent to jail. And Mycroft, who's his brother, who I loved as a character, he bails him out, but it's like it's time to teach him a lesson. So he sends him to Oxford, and you'd assume, oh, it's Sherlock Holmes. He's going to be top tier. No, he's sent as, technically, he's like a servant there. So they clean after the professors, and they're like the janitors of the school.
Yeah. Young janitors were.
So it was believable to me because in not the movie so much, like the Robert Downey Jr. movies, but in the Benedict Cumberbatch show, Mycroft is in it a lot as well. And he also doesn't want to help Sherlock as much. He helps him, but like kind of also wants to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, for sure. I think Mycroft sees how smart his brother is, and maybe he's though I think technically in the books he's supposed to be much smarter than Sherlock. He just uses it in a different way.
He's very by the rules.
Yes, exactly. I thought they made him too personable, and maybe it's because
that's a question here too.
My image of Sherlock is the Benedict Cumberbatch one because I absolutely love that one. I thought it was exactly what I thought Sherlock should be and how he does things. And I don't know. I suppose because he's young, his deductive skills were matching to a young version who hasn't honed that skill yet. But I don't know what I thought Sherlock would be as a child. I never thought about that when I was watching the shows.
Right.
And not that he's a child, he's a teenager, but maybe I just hate teenagers.
I mean,
maybe
honestly,
that's my problem.
Maybe that's the problem. You don't like teenagers.
Maybe I just don't like that because, and I didn't like how they portrayed his imagination.
His mind palace?
Yes.
That
I know about the mind palace. I know about
so
it.
Mad.
But that was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my entire life.
That was one of my favorite things.
Okay.
Before, if we're going to get into this mind palace really quick, let me remind you what the other ones were. Robert Downey Jr.'s version. If you remember the boxing scene, he's going to box this guy much bigger than him. And before the fight, he visualizes himself doing all the moves and what the guy's going to do to return.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
And he ends up doing those exact moves and kicking the guy's butt because that's what his little walkthrough told him.
Yeah.
And Cumberbatch, it's more of you stay focused on Sherlock and then he's doing stuff in his mind, but it's flashing things. So you'll see words, pictures, stuff, and he's kind of like shaking his head.
His mind palace.
It's just in his mind. It's just him. In the young Sherlock show, something will happen. They leave the scene. Then when they start talking about the scene they just left, let's say it was a fight, he goes back into the fight and he's watching himself go through the motions to get clues. And it's amazing.
And the person can I oh my
Moriarty,
god, I couldn't.
when
Yeah,
Moriarty
Moriarty
was in
joined
there,
in, and then the guy who he was fighting
looks
looked
over,
at
yeah,
Sherlock
and acknowledges that
and
they're there.
yes, and
Yes.
Moriarty was like, "He's looking at you. Is that normal?" He's like, "Yeah, but nothing can change. They
I
just watch me." I hated that.
I
That
can
makes no
see.
fucking
Yeah, I can
sense.
see that.
That's so pretentious.
I can see where that if they hadn't done that, but I thought it was amazing how
Ugh.
that was. But yes, that does happen where you're like, how does
Well, I
Moriarty
didn't
see
finish
it?
it, so I'll let you answer this, but I will tell you I did comment on it. So, do you think that the series was successfully works as an origin story for the iconic detective?
100%, we have nothing to compare it to. So, what I really like about this one is that he meets Moriarty in college. It's almost like he's not fully aware of what he can do deductively until Moriarty helps him kind of visualize things, like how he helps him. Like Moriarty's at the same level as him. They're both
Yeah.
the same level of intelligence. And then on top of that, except for the Robert Downey Jr. version, I don't think we see a lot of fighting with Sherlock. We do, but it's very controlled. Whereas a Moriarty is like street fighter,
Yeah.
and he helps. He teaches Sherlock in a way how to defend himself, which we see him do. In the episodes I watched, and you didn't. So it benefited him to be friends with Moriarty. So I think it was a good way to introduce both characters that are well known and have this dynamic where they were friends first.
See, okay, so even though I didn't watch it fully, I had a preconceived notion of how Sherlock should be, even
Mhm.
from a young age. I don't feel like when you act like that at an older adult age, you come off in life at the start very, oh, outgoing and handsome. Because I know you loved how handsome he was.
Damn,
And
that guy is so handsome.
I
I
don't
I
think he's
wa I
handsome
went
at
and watched
all.
all the after movies after that, and he is first of all, emotionally, he nailed it. Like,
I
there
love that because I put the actors all gave me nothing.
because you watched 1 and the end. In
That's
the
all I
middle,
needed.
if you could have just seen everything that happened that led up to the end, like the emotional part of it, not the plot, right? So you have to watch it to get a feel for what the person is feeling as they go through. And I don't think he came off as likable because it's not like he had friends. And they even say it multiple times again in other episodes where he goes to see his mom and she's like, "Oh, you have a friend. I was so worried about you." So they do clarify that he's always been different.
See,
And
and I don't
even
get that at all.
and when he was a kid, his dad was
Well,
fishing.
okay, yeah, that
He by himself playing with like literally it's showing you from day 1 that he is more isolated. He's definitely more likable. But I mean,
he's way too personable.
I liked
That will never
Cumberbatch
change.
and I didn't care that they weren't likable as adults because I think Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock is likable. He has a lot of personality
He does,
in his version.
and we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk about characters. How does Hero's portrayal of Sherlock compare to the actors like Benedict and Robert Downey Jr.?
So with Cumberbatch, he was very dry. His very dry comedy or sense of humor, the way that he approached stuff. He also was very emotionally captivating.
Yeah,
If he had an emotional moment, you really felt it.
yeah.
And also it's darker.
The
The
coloring and the
filming, yeah,
everything
all of
about
it.
it. Mhm.
Robert Downey Jr.'s one was just overall comedy adventure.
Yeah,
So you didn't get to see that. So it's two totally different
totally.
versions.
Mhm.
And I would say that Hero's version is a good combination of both because there is a lot of bright and then there's action and funny stuff. But there were moments that were very much like Sherlock Holmes TV show with
Yeah.
Cumberbatch.
Well, did you know that the director directed the second Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm.
Sherlock and directed this TV show?
Yes.
So to me, it was a portrayal of that version of Robert Downey Jr., which is
Hmm.
why I think I felt that it was more jokey.
See, I do see Guy Ritchie in this one, but as far as jokiness, it was so minimal. And it was more like things that were said drew back to it because the plot of the story was more action driven or drama driven because we find out that his dad is involved in things,
Mhm.
basically. And Silas, the dad, is a character that we don't know
Mhm.
much about prior to this show.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, they have like some jokes in there, like he says the game's afoot at one point, which is a famous saying.
Yeah, of
And then
course.
there's another one that I thought was really smart, which is they're in a hat shop and Sherlock goes to put on the Sherlock Holmes famous hat.
Mhm.
And Moriarty comes up behind him and goes, and takes it away from him. He said, if you ever wear a hat like that, we can no longer be friends. And that was perfect because that is 100% how it is in the adult version, right?
Yeah, they
He
are
wears the
not
hat, they're
friends.
not friends.
They are not friends.
What did you think of Hero's portrayal compared to
Well, I can't say
Benedict?
because I didn't really watch all that much, but
Can you repeat that
okay.
louder for everyone? Thanks.
See, I watched after, before
Yeah.
you, right? Because my mom told me, "Oh, you should try watching it." And this was in the beginning when it first came out, and we did not know there was gonna be 5,000,000 of them.
Yeah.
I didn't like him in that movie. I thought he gave nothing
Agree.
already off the bat.
I agree. That first movie.
Yeah.
You're right. That
It's
first
so
movie.
That's set in my mind forever. I won't like him, and I don't like him. So, of course, I'm always gonna be more towards Benedict Cumberbatch because I started
Yeah.
with him. I really liked him, and I like that seriousness of him. And so, like I said, I didn't watch it all, so I can't give a good
From what you saw, though, do you think he was closer to the Robert Downey Jr. version?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. And I didn't like the Robert Downey Jr. version, so I don't even really remember it. And I've watched it multiple times because my husband likes it, but I think it's trash.
Now
Also,
I've watched.
I don't like Guy Ritchie. I think his movies are trash. I have not
Oh,
liked to see. I think I've tried watching 3 because I looked him up because I was like, well, what movies has he directed? Maybe. And I don't like any of them.
a lot of good movies. You
A
know what?
lot of good movies.
I,
Nope. They're all trash.
you know
And I
what I,
hate all of them.
you know what I think the problem is though? There's no smut in his movies.
No,
And so
it's not even that. It's not. He's just not. I don't know. His movies are just not good because we tried. Remember, we tried watching one together.
which one?
It was that. Fuck. I don't even know what it was called.
You're like, it wasn't even worth my time.
It had a lot of hot men. I don't need smut. If the men are hot enough, and Hero is in it, and it had the guy, and it had Henry
Ah.
Cavill.
Oh,
You remember that?
Yes.
And I was like,
I still haven't finished that movie.
because it was trash.
That's so funny.
I don't know. There's just something about it that feels lollygaggy. Remember, we were so bored. It just
Yeah.
went on and
That
on
movie
and
was
on.
boring,
It-
to be fair.
And I think they're all boring. A
He
Man
does
Called Uncle,
action. Yeah.
I thought was so boring.
I did watch all of that one.
I did watch all of it too, not because of smut. Again, because he picks out handsome men.
Yeah.
And I love a handsome man.
Who doesn't?
And I
Well,
like action.
Yeah.
But the action is so minimal to me that and like generic in the
In
fight
those movies, for
scenes.
sure.
I don't know. I just really love action when it's really done well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like his are done well. They just feel generic. Even the fight scenes at the beginning of Sherlock, I was like, ugh, when he was trying to fight that guy in the jail. What the fuck was that? It was trash.
He didn't know how to fight, though.
I thought it was trash for somebody who claims that he's such an action-packed director. So let's just say I don't like Guy Ritchie and I don't like Hero Phineas Tiffin's portrayal of Sherlock. And that's it. I don't know. What is it?
Fines.
Fines.
Yeah.
Wow. Nope.
So let me just say, if you were to watch any of the other afters, you would see his acting because he breaks your heart in those movies. The ones after, 'cause it's a lot of back and forth. It's very, very romance.
It's very toxic.
It is very toxic.
Oh, it's the most toxic. I won't watch it.
The relationship is extremely toxic.
It's terrible because I skimmed through the books and the books are even worse. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my gosh.
Judging him by his one other
All
movie.
right. What did you think about the relationship between Sherlock and James Moriarty
Loved
in this
it.
early stage of their lives?
Absolutely loved it because who doesn't love an origin story?
Mhm.
And in the show, and I'm having a hard time remembering Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes
Oh,
that
he was
with Robert Downey
so-
Jr.
Oh my God. I love him. I love him.
I know it's somebody I know.
Oh, like you can't remember
I
the
can't
actor?
remember who it was.
Oh, I don't know his name because I'm terrible with names. You remember that stuff, not me.
I know. It's been a while since I watched it, but in the Benedict version,
Mm-hmm.
he had Moriarty was in it, and I thought that guy was great as Moriarty.
Yeah.
He was a really good nemesis. So I do like Moriarty. I like the person playing him. I like the character because as the show goes on, probably even in the first episode, but I don't remember 100%. You see the side of him that is in conflict with his good side because he's still getting a little something. He's used to getting his way. He's used to charming people. He locks in with Sherlock and starts, oh, this is fun, all
Mhm.
this stuff that's going on and trying to figure things out. And as it goes on, there's moments where he can make the right choice or the wrong choice. He makes the wrong choice. Or there's one scene where he has to shoot someone to save someone's life, and you see him. It is such a good scene because he shoots, the camera slowly pans into him
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of silent, and then he breathes and everything comes back into focus. Oh, that I rewound that scene because it was so good. Like you think he just realized he killed someone. But then later, he's looking at the body on the ground, tilts his head sideways, and he kind of has a smirk.
Mhm.
And that's I think the very first major sign where you're like, he was always kind of bad. But
We've
I
had this discussion
love
about
this relation.
Yeah.
I heard that if they continue it, it's going to start to veer more into the traditional, how they have the fracture of their
Yeah.
relationship and stuff.
Mhm.
Also, you can tell that Sherlock is watching him in certain moments. You see him look at him and
I
realize
saw that at the
that's an
end
odd
episode.
reaction to what's happening.
I saw that at the end of
The last
the
episode,
last
yeah.
episode, yeah, where
Is
he
that when they were underground in the cave and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking at him when everyone's panicking, and he's like, "Why is he so interested in that? The guy being killed inside that
Yeah.
thing."
What supporting character stood out to you most and why?
Did you have one?
I wouldn't know. That's what
There
I
was
put.
there was 2. There's 2 really good ones because Mycroft is in it, and he's there in the beginning because he has to get him out of jail and get him that.
Mhm.
He has his own stuff he's dealing with that's kind of smaller, and then towards the end, he gets brought back into the big story, and then his relationship with his family, like, you could tell that he kind of has either fear or too much respect for his dad, so he kind of is submissive to him.
Yeah, I saw that in
Yeah.
the last episode for sure.
He also takes care of the mom's in the hospital, a mental hospital, which the dad had put her in, and Sherlock kinda hadn't been visiting her as much, but Mycroft, even though he's less emotional, was always there visiting and taking care of her.
Mm.
So, I really liked him, and then the other one is the princess who we find out isn't really a princess. The princess had actually gotten kidnapped, which was obvious from the second she got out of the carriage,
And,
disappeared
like,
over the hill, and
fought the fuck out of those
yeah,
people.
but
That
then
was a good fight scene.
that was good.
That was a good fight
Her
scene.
fighting was good,
Yeah.
and then comes back, and I was like, "Is that the same girl?" I was not sure because they did intentionally have her in makeup. She was really good because she was in a bit of the first few episodes. Again, I think it was episode 4 or 5. I'm like, "Wait, is that story?" I was a little bit confused because
Yeah.
I thought, "Is that storyline over?" Because suddenly she wasn't there, but then she reappears. Then they make a connection between the beginning and the end to the big story, the over
Damn,
story.
I wouldn't have known that because she was in the beginning and she was in the end, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
assumed she was there throughout the whole time.
yeah, she missed a couple of maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and again, that wasn't quite clear if that was over. Did they solve that mystery?
Was it even a mystery?
Well, for them, not not for the viewer.
So the show centers on Sherlock's first major case involving a conspiracy.
Mhm.
Was the mystery compelling enough?
So, the original mystery is that the princess is coming to bring these scrolls. They get stolen. She gets them back. They're not real. So, that was the first mystery, and it's kinda like it just happens.
Yeah.
You don't know what it means.
Yeah, I didn't know what the whole point of that was for.
Yeah, and I still question it because the thing is that this girl, I think what ties it in is there's these 4 professors. They're called the 4 apostles. They're mining this stuff that ends up making, whatever. You can cover someone's face with it and they'll die, not pass out, die. So Silas Holmes, Sherlock's and Mycroft's dad, is behind
Yeah.
the thing. So the reason she comes into it, again, still don't know what the scrolls have to do with it because I don't remember if they did. But the reason she replaces the princess is because her whole family was killed by these 4 professors. Their whole tribe or village was was murdered because they were mining this stuff and doing these experiments and they tested it on them. So she was hired to kill these guys, but really she was doing it for her own
Oh,
vengeance.
yeah, totally.
So she was going and killing them. So what happens is because she ends up in Oxford as a student, the princess, professors start dying, which Sherlock is initially a suspect and arrested for. That ties her into their storyline, which then continues on with the mining. So again, scrolls. I don't know if it was just a way to introduce her character, how she got there, but the overall story is that there are these mines that make this chemical that Silas wants to sell to make money, and it literally could kill a room full of people in seconds.
Yeah, I thought it was too big. Even without watching the whole thing, focusing on that one thing that was so big
Mhm.
instead of, because in the Benedict Cumberbatch storylines, you got, like, little cases
Yeah, which
because
is
it
how
was a
the
TV
stories
series.
are.
Yeah, and that's how, you think of Sherlock, but this one was so big, and it kinda came back to his family.
Yeah.
Like, it was family drama.
Yeah, but I mean, it was worse than that. The mom was put into a mental institute. The dad kidnaps the daughter and makes them think she's dead.
So crazy.
It turns into a whole thing.
It's fucking
A lot happens.
yeah, it's too much.
But the main storyline, is it the mines or is it his dad's nuts? I mean,
Oh, it totally was the dad's nuts, but
because
I
at
don't
the end,
think
literally everyone wanted the dad dead.
Yeah.
Not one. Well, that was that the last episode where his dad throws himself off the cliff?
Yes, yeah. Oh
And
my
you
god,
did not
and
see the emotion in his eyes.
it was so bad. Your dad was fucking horrible and you're crying because he
It's
threw
his
himself.
dad.
I don't care.
Let me tell you something.
Obviously, Minecraft didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't. But again, he is colder, at least in this version.
Well, he's colder in all versions, I would
He's
say,
but I
but
mean, like, Sherlock is more shows more emotion in this
yeah.
version compared to other
Well,
versions.
and I guess does Sherlock actually have a sister? Is that real?
Well,
Because we have Enola Holmes,
yeah, I
right?
was just gonna say I mean, her name isn't even Enola in this. So,
I know, that's why I'm like, do they actually have a sister, and who the fuck is it?
yeah, I only know Mycroft and Sherlock. I don't
Yeah,
know if they have a sister.
I
But I
never
mean,
knew if that was
if
true or
she
not.
if B had Enola as a name or if Enola was Beatrice or whatever,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, "Okay, they definitely had a sister," but they made up.
God, fucking Beatrice showing up out of nowhere and all these.
I knew she wasn't dead, but I did not know it was gonna be she was the secretary of this guy,
Yeah,
of one
yeah.
of the professors.
I
Oh,
didn't realize the dad would be so cold-hearted.
he played them both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that does kinda make sense when you see the type of people Mycroft and Sherlock are, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, emotionally, their dad,
Yeah.
he seemed normal at first
Well,
when
they're
they were little kids.
yeah, we all seem normal
With till
at
we get to
first.
know each other.
How well does the series balance action, mystery, and character development?
I feel like the action happened appropriately. It wasn't just randomly, like, they're standing there and then suddenly they're fighting. It was usually trying to get away from something. They were being chased because of something they found out. So I thought it was well balanced. Character development wise, I feel like the person at the most development was Moriarty, only because he gets to play he's good, but then you can see that hint of bad.
Sure, yeah.
So in the very beginning, let's say you knew nothing, you'd be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, look, you made a friend. Oh, they're so cute together. Look at them doing all this stuff." But then you're like, "Wait a second, that wasn't cool." I would say his was the biggest.
Yeah, I could even see it from the beginning episode that I watched in the last episode
Mm.
because he and B are, like, together, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Get all that your father has, like,
Yes.
inspiration."
Yep.
And you're like, "The fuck, dude?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look what
I didn't
he's
even have to
done.
watch the whole show to know that's not what you're supposed to get
And,
out of
yeah,
this.
it's very difficult to like him because you know that you already know what he ends up being. But you know what I do like in the Cumberbatch one?
Yeah.
Moriarty overall arc in the Cumberbatch Sherlock. I always felt in that one, because I'd never seen this one, that it almost hurt him how much Moriarty had against him in a
Mhm.
way. And now it makes sense just based on if this was a true story, right?
You think it leads kinda into that.
Right. Oh, look, my first close friend, and we do this and that, and we solve this. And now he's going to turn his back on me and try to destroy me, as an adult. I do like kind of that connection.
Yeah, I suppose. You can see it that way. Do you think the show focuses more on deduction or drama and spectacle? I put just drama, not even a spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a spectacle. I think deduction and drama because they have to deduce a lot of things in the show.
In the show. I guess I wouldn't know.
That should be your answer, literally from here down.
How much of Guy Ritchie's signature style do you see in the series?
I would say the action,
Yeah.
but that's about it for me.
Yeah. I put too much.
That makes sense.
Does the tone feel consistent or does it shift too much between humor and drama and action?
I thought it was consistent because, in my opinion, it wasn't humor. So there was a couple of funny things that just make you think of future Sherlock, just little things that you know because you know Sherlock Holmes. But there was no moment like you were laughing, like, wow, that was so funny because I didn't feel like it focused on that. So I thought it was mainly drama with a sprinkle of something that you might go, oh, that's cool. They threw that in, but not spectacle because a spectacle to me is negative.
Which is why it was a spectacle to me. I would say that the first episode to the last are very different. So I can't imagine how it was in the middle because, like I said, in the beginning, it felt very humorous, trying to, of course, because he's 19, make it seem like, oh, he's just a kid who gets into a little bit of
I
trouble with his
definitely see
friend.
that in the
And
beginning.
then when I got to the last episode, then it was like, yeah, he had a shit family. He was very, very serious in it. And the Moriarty storyline had
Mhm.
shown that he was kind of turning and then Sherlock could see it happening. So I suppose if I had watched it all, it probably wouldn't have been a spectacle. It just would have been a family drama.
I mean, yeah, I guess. There is family drama, but I don't think it's about family drama.
Some viewers say it doesn't feel like a traditional Sherlock story. Do you agree? Let me start. I'm sure that was very much the point.
Thank you.
Young Sherlock was supposed to be for a younger audience. Maybe because I'm old. Maybe that's why I hated it. Maybe because we do have so many adaptations of Sherlock and what we imagine Sherlock being. So I would say that this does feel like something that maybe the younger generation would like for Sherlock. A handsome man, younger
Yeah.
story, actiony, and the coloring and everything about this version of Sherlock.
A teeny tiny bit of romance, very teeny tiny. I agree with you. I put, how can it? He's 19. If you're saying it doesn't feel like a traditional Sherlock story, then you're 100% missing the point of the show. It can't be. It cannot be. If you've only seen or read adult versions of this is going to seem maybe a little young, and you should go watch the Cumberbatch version, which is exceptional.
Which it totally is. So did you find the Sherlock to be too likable compared to the classic one? And should it be? Because this was probably trying to bring in a new group of Sherlock lovers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was so likable, which is, again, because I'm older and I like Benedict Cumberbatch's so much better, what I didn't like about it.
I think it's definitely tailored for the type of world we live in right now. I have read the Sherlock books. I have the whole series, the set of all the stories. And I think that this version is really fun to watch. I think it is appealing to a lot of people. And don't forget, they want more seasons, right?
Oh, 1,000%.
So they have to be likable.
Yeah.
So I can see where it might throw off maybe older people, not me, but maybe more older people or maybe more literature people. Like if they're looking for an exact replicate. But also, when any book becomes a movie, there is artistic license to those. You're never going to see anything that's exactly like the book.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
there's different interpretations. And honestly,
And some people like, the movie
everyone's
version.
different.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved the Robert Downey Jr. movies. I loved the Cumberbatch, and I love this one. If you only watch the Robert Downey Jr. version, you will love this.
That's a factual truth.
Yeah.
I could say that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I think my husband should watch this show because I think he actually would enjoy it because he's never seen the Benedict Cumberbatch one, I don't believe. I don't think I've ever sat him down to watch it because, the episodes are movie length and they're only just like 2 a season.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would enjoy it. I don't think he would like that seriousness.
It's definitely a slower pace show.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
slower pace, but it has its moments where the mind palace stuff, his thinking, it just depends what you like about Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly. And I think my husband would really have liked the show. I should have had him watch it and come in here with you.
You should have done the
Damn, I missed its opportunity right there. Does the
And also, I wanna say, they call him a colder like, in here it says, "Is he too likable compared to the classic colder, more eccentric?" I think he's still eccentric in this one, but as you get older, Howard Hughes, for example, was an eccentric person. He had very bad OCD, couldn't go out in public, and he was hugely famous. And
not that hugely famous. Who the fuck is he?
Howard Hughes, the
Who?
he did, like, the airplanes and
Nope.
oh, you
You
gotta watch the movie
totally lost me.
with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow, you're throwing a name
It's
at me. I do
called The
know.
Aviator, but it's about him. He was completely fine being in public, hosting these parties and doing all this stuff, and he died isolated from the world.
I
His
should.
eccentricities caused him to be that way. So, like,
Ah,
I think that being younger, you have less eccentricities because as you get older, you kinda develop them,
sure.
and as far as colder, again, Cumberbatch would be the only one you could compare it to, and even he has emotions. He wasn't that cold to me, which is why I really liked him as well as Sherlock, because he appears cold, but he has these emotional moments, and he was really good at them.
Yeah, he was.
They were small. It wasn't, oh my gosh, my world. It was just like the eyes and the
Yeah.
tears, and oh, I'm gonna have to watch that again.
God, it was so good. I agree. I should just gone and watched that instead. Did you feel like the show relied too much on Sherlock's memory versus actual deduction? I didn't watch enough to comment on that.
I mean, to be fair, he had to think back on stuff that happened in this version to do the deduction. So I guess, yes, he used his memory a lot because in this one, he doesn't pre deduce anything like Robert Downey Jr.'s version did.
Yeah, I think because he was so young, how would he have honed that skill?
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of this was. He's 19. He's
Hmm.
learning. He doesn't have the right experience of the world yet.
Yeah. And also prior to this start of this version, they start with what he was doing, which was pickpocketing and stuff and
Yeah.
getting in trouble. And it seemed he knew the other prisoners. Like you could tell it happened to him often. So they're kind of showing you he didn't really need to use anything. He was just like, I'm smart. Can I get away with doing this? And he would go do it.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't
he
even
never
like
used it,
yeah,
you
because
know.
he wasn't thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna be a detective.
Right,
I'm gonna
exactly.
help the police figure out these cases." It was just more like, "I feel like I could do this, could I?" And
Yeah.
he did.
And he did it.
And he did it. He got caught a couple times. Where would you like to see the story go in a potential season 2?
Oh, just they have got to continue the story with him and Moriarty. I would like to see them still stay friends, have friction, somehow get out of it. Because if they don't, first of all, if they never have any friction, I don't think it'd be good. Number one. Number two, they can't have their relationship fall apart too fast because then it completely changes the show. Now the show's going to be about them being enemies.
Mhm. That's a
So,
season 3 thing.
yeah, hi. 3 or 4. I would love to see what they do with it and see if there's a reason to go to 3.
You're like, "Impress me."
Yeah, prove to me,
Yeah, this was good, but go farther.
do more.
I said, "Just go watch Cumberbatch's version."
Season 2, a completely different version.
How might this version of Sherlock evolve into the legendary detective we know?
This is gonna be interesting for you maybe
Mhm.
because you were used to him being so detached. I think the fact that prior to Moriarty, he didn't have any friends. This is just in reference to this version, okay?
Yeah.
He didn't have anybody close to him because of how he is and the life he led. He let somebody in, which is Moriarty.
Yeah.
We know what happens to that relationship.
Yeah.
And so I can see where even though he already was kind of closed off, he opened up to somebody, gets badly burned. And then on top of that, what his dad did,
Yeah.
I can see him then being like, you know what? I need to shut this part of me off and be analytical and use my brain and see things that way, less emotional.
Yeah.
And I think we get the detective that everyone knows.
Yeah. I put something very similar. I was like, I'm sure they make it well because betrayal of Moriarty. If he falls in love and
Hmm.
with anything, and his weird family dynamic
Hmm.
he's got going on, I'm sure they could do it. I just don't want to watch it. I know I'm so cruel, but I just don't want to watch it. So, all in all, what did you rate it?
5.
For you, I didn't rate it. I just
She
said
didn't want to.
DNF.
She didn't want to offend me. She didn't want me to be like, how dare you when you didn't watch it?
I mean, how
think
many
DNF
episodes were there? I
8.
watched 2. There we go. I got a
That's
quarter
not
of the way.
half.
That's a quarter. That's a quarter. I have a right. I have a right.
Would you have given it a 1?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. She did the right thing, though, by not. She did the right thing. Well, we totally disagreed on this one.
Completely.
I think a fair way would have been if you had watched it. That's all I'm going to say.
I can't tell you how mad she was. Every time, like, she'd start a new episode, she'd be like, I'm so mad you didn't finish this.
Every time an episode.
I can't believe you didn't finish this.
Because it was so good.
It was.
Or something would happen. I'm like, she probably would have liked that. See, that would have made sense. Oh, so annoying.
No, you know what? We won't get into it because it'll be a thing. But that show I started, I'm probably not going to finish it. It was so good. I can't tell you people what my brain is. It's wrong, right? Like I got a wrong brain. It was so good this episode that I watched. And I was like, oh my God, I want to keep going. They're only 30
immediately
minutes.
tells me to watch
I know.
it.
I immediately tell her, you should put this on. Like, you should watch this. I'm not going to finish it. We did 2 episodes and I'm done now. I'm bored. I have to be able, I think, binge it in silence. You need silence for books. I need silence for TV shows.
I really like
I watched
to get into
Hamnet
it.
and it was so amazing, but I don't think I would have finished it if my husband had been there. One, because I know I would have cried and I can't cry in front of my husband. He came down and saw me crying anyways because I couldn't stop. But I have this weird thing where I don't like to watch TV.
We honestly need a whole podcast on this. We won't, but we do.
I would end up crying.
I'm gonna be like, doesn't it feel good?
No.
Emotions good.
No.
Man, if something can destroy me from the inside out,
you have to watch
love
it so you can tell me.
Definitely gonna watch it. Sherlock, we did it. We got through another TV series. The next one's gonna be yours. We will let you know another time what it is. I will already commit to watching the whole thing.
Of course you will, because that's who you are. You know what? It's gonna be great. We're gonna hate it.
Okay, we're gonna change that to you're gonna hate it. I think that's the thing. I feel like if you just give it a chance, it might not be love, but it could go from hate to
I gave it 2 episodes. What more do you want from me, woman?
but you skipped them. I need people. I need somebody.
I hate people.
No, I said I need people. I need people to
Tell me that I'm wrong.
Yes. And tell me that I'm right. Can't even.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
As usual, we're always arguing about something, but can't wait to have you guys listen to this one.
Join us next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.